Western and Ukrainian leaders announced a new coordinated push to intensify pressure on Russia, unveiling sweeping sanctions, asset seizures, and military aid packages aimed at crippling Moscow's war economy and forcing it back to the negotiating table. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer outlined a plan by the US, UK, and EU to remove Russian oil and gas from global markets, targeting energy revenues that sustain the Kremlin's military campaign.
We are strengthening Ukraine's air defence to protect its civilians and its energy infrastructure. I announced today that we're accelerating our UK programme to provide Ukraine with more than 5,000 lightweight multi-role missiles. This programme has created hundreds of brilliant jobs in Belfast, and they're working now to deliver an additional 140 missiles ahead of schedule to bolster Ukraine's defences through the depths of winter.
The coalition also plans to unlock frozen Russian sovereign assets to fund Ukraine's defence and reconstruction, while fast-tracking delivery of thousands of British-made lightweight multi-role missiles to strengthen Kyiv's air defences this winter. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized the importance of practical steps over symbolic gestures, urging the coalition to expand sanctions to all Russian oil firms and dismantle the so-called shadow fleet used to bypass restrictions.
First, air defense, and today we spoke in detail with our partners about the systems. It's important that our partners focus on what's most practical and effective, and we gave all the details. Second, of course, it's important that everyone agrees the front needs substantial attention, and the focus must be on it, and thank for all the steps of help. And third, we are promoting a more meaningful approach to diplomacy. Diplomacy matters only when it can lead to real decisions.
Zelensky said Ukraine's drone and missile strikes targeting Russia's oil infrastructure were complementing Western sanctions by inflicting direct economic losses inside Russia. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said Putin had contacted Donald Trump amid fears Ukraine was gaining ground, but later rejected a proposed ceasefire. She added that Russia continues hybrid warfare against NATO and the West.
Putin that called President Trump some days ago because he was scared that Ukraine would get the upper hand. Yet he rejected Trump's proposal for a ceasefire along the current front lines, a suggestion that we support, and same goes for you in Ukraine. But Putin doesn't want to stop the killings. There is no indication that Russia and Putin wants peace, not even a ceasefire. And Russia continues its hybrid war against NATO and the West. Today, the coalition of the willing, we have agreed to increase the pressure on Russia, agreed that we must find long-term financing of Ukraine's ability to keep fighting, boost Ukraine's defense industry with European financing, finance much-needed US weapons, and to put more pressure on Putin's weak economy with new sanctions.
Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof called for greater EU coordination with US and UK sanctions and pledged Dutch participation in curbing Russia's shadow oil operations in the North Sea.
We need to maximize support to Ukraine. And Ukrainian needs have to be leading in that. What we see is that Russia is the only party rejecting a ceasefire, circumventing all diplomatic initiatives and continuing to attack Ukraine. The only way to persuade Putin to engage in serious talks is to increase economic pressure on Russia and our support for Ukraine.
Russia has vowed a strong response to new US and EU sanctions, calling them illegal and coercive. Kremlin officials, including Maria Zakharova and Dmitry Peskov, said Moscow will implement effective and tough countermeasures while protecting national strategic interests.
The European Union persists in engaging in Sisyphean labor, vainly attempting to inflict damage on the economy and population of our country through its endless sanctions. The utter futility of these efforts has become evident to everyone, except the leadership of the EU institutions and governments of the majority of the EU member states. We would like to reiterate that no restrictive measures of the EU are capable to ruin the Russian economy. Equally illusory are the expectations of the authors of the EU restrictions that, through such measures, they will force our country to abandon the objectives of the special military operation set by the leadership of Russia, aimed at eliminating the root causes of the Ukrainian conflict, primarily those related to ensuring Russia's security and protecting the Russian-speaking population of eastern Ukraine.
The sanctions target Russia's top oil producers, Rosneft and Lukoil, and mark the EU's 19th sanctions package. Putin said the measures aim to pressure Russia, but will not significantly affect its economy